Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Robert Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, we are 6 days away from the 2026 Daytona 500, the Great American Race, the Super Bowl of stock car racing. So we profiled the number 6. Now we're going to do the 06. So in NASCAR, you're allowed to run two-digit number. It doesn't have to necessarily start with a number. You can start with a 0. So we have 0 through 99 and then 00 through 09. So we're going to go over the 06. Now you would think there was not too many people who run like an 06 or an 05. I believe it or not, there's a bunch of those out there, which is kind of shocking to me. 323 cup starts with the 06, 1 win, 46 top 5s, 15 top 10s. First race was February 22nd, 1963. The last race was May 16th, 2009. Neil Castles, 232 starts, 30 top 5s, 83 top 10s, average finish of 17.8. Now, the one thing when I started doing these countdowns and the next off season, I got some other videos I want to do, is kind of remembering some of the drivers of the past that we don't normally talk about, like a Neil Castles, like a Trevor Bayne, like a Joe Bessie, and some of these other drivers that drive these numbers that, we don't really talk about much because they weren't champions or they didn't win a lot of races. Dave Moody on XM NASCAR Radio does his Legend series, and the very last question is basically, when we all don't make it out of here alive, how do you want to be remembered? And everybody has their own kind of, I want to be remembered for this or for this. And Richard Petty had one of the ones that I heard him kind of made me think about, some of these drivers we need to remember. We need to have conversations about a Neil Castles, and even though he didn't do a lot in the sport win-wise, but he was there. He's part of the foundation of NASCAR. And Richard Petty said, I just want to be remembered. And so that made me kind of think, I'm like, you know what? Doing videos like this and talking about Neil Castles, 232 starts in the 06, and, a Rodney Howard, 15 starts on the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series, and, Carl Kiefkaver having his 4 cars and coming in and winning a bunch of championships and leaving, and even though, like the Carl Kiefkaver story, he was a cheater and he ended up getting in a fight with Bill France Sr. for cheating, that's part of the fabric of this sport, and that stuff's got to be, needs to be remembered, the history of it, And part of that is also from Dale Jr.'s Lost Speedways, watching those and kind of seeing those speedways and hearing the stories, and it's like kind of brings out the historian and, that I kind of curious about the history of the sport and kind of that historian factor. I love to go to the Hall of Fame and kind of look at some of that and talk to Winston Kelly and Dale Jr. and stuff. There's a lot of the history that's I would love to hear that I don't, obviously some of it you can look up online and find out and hear stories and stuff, but it's just real fascinating for me as I'm getting older here. So, Neil Castles has 232 starts, like I said, and Kelly Yarborough had 20 starts in the 06, which shocked me. 1 win, 10 top 5s, 15 top 10s, average finish of 7.4. Johnny Wynn, 20 starts, 5 top 10s, average finish of 17.8. Terry Byers, 5 starts, average finish of 28.2. Todd Kleber, 4 starts, average finish of 38.8. Bob Wellborn, he was the NASCAR Convertible Series champion 3 times. And 3 starts in the number 06 in the Cup Series, 2 top 5s, 2 top 10s, average finish of 7.0. This number 06 was a Dodge, 167 races, was a Plymouth 84, Ford 43, Mercury 20, 11 Chevrolet, 4 Pontiac, and 2 Buick. On the Xfinity side, the 06, 79 starts among 12 drivers. 1 driver won a race, 1 win, 3 top 5s, 16 top 10s. First race February 19th, 1983. Last race April 14th, 2007. Todd Kleber, 35 starts, 4 top 10s, average finish of 23.0. Rodney Howard, 15 starts, 5 top 10s, average finish of 14.6. Mark Martin, 15 starts, 1 win, 3 top 5s, 7 top 10s, average finish of 18.6. Todd Cray, 4 starts, average finish of 26.0. Clay Brown, 3 starts, average finish of 33.0. On the Truck Series, 18 drivers made 48 races, 3 top 10s. Chad McCumbee, 7 starts in the 06 Craftsman truck, 21.9 average finish. Randy McDonald, 6 starts, average finish of 21.0. Butch Gilliland, 5 starts, 1 top 10, average finish of 21.2. Billy Punch, 4 starts, 1 top 10, average finish of 18.0. And Jimmy Kite, 4 starts, an average finish of 20.8. So not a lot of stats like some of these car numbers, but definitely a bunch there, and that one win with Kelly Yarborough for the 06. So here we are, Monday, February 9th. We are 6 days away from the 2026 Daytona 500. This week, folks, and we'll get started. We'll have 37 events in the next 39 weeks. Whew, it's going to be a lot. There's 2 off weeks. Technically, for the Cup Series, there's 2 off weeks. But one of those off weeks is going to be Easter weekend. We'll have the Truck Series and the O'Reilly Auto Parts Series at Rockingham. And I believe the other off week, all 3 series are off. So only one weekend between now and November 8th, I think it is, that we will not have at least one NASCAR event. Yeah, November 8th. So yeah, that's the conclusion of the season. Then we'll have 104 days off. And we'll start 2027 there at Daytona. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show, and don't just have a great day. Have a 50-day Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader in sports channel content.